Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this episode of. My name is Rudy LaRose. I am your co-host for the evening, and guess what? I am in the building as always. And I'm excited to see each and every one of you. Well, you're excited to see me because I can't see you, but I'm excited that you're here. I know that you're here. So thank you for joining us. Wherever you're joining us from, do me a favor, put in the comment section where you're joining us from. If you haven't had a chance, make sure you add StreamYard to your Facebook. Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Again, StreamYard.com/Facebook. Be sure to add us to your Facebook so that we can know who's commenting. Otherwise, we have no idea. So we have a packed show for you guys tonight, as always, and we're looking forward to dropping tremendous values to everyone who was watching all over the world. I'm excited, man. I can't wait to have this young cat, boy. There's nothing like young entrepreneurs. I mean, he might consider himself as being a little seasoned, but to me, I've seen him grow, and I've seen, where he started, where he's at today, and I can't wait to introduce you to this young cat coming through the show. But before I do that, you already know there's tapping on my shoulders. I feel some tapping on my shoulders right now. So I got to bring in the young lions, to the building as well, so that we can get the show started all the way live. The city that never sleeps. You already know. Where the rodents make more money than us. The mouse, the cats, dogs. I don't know what kind of animal control they got over there, but apparently they ain't got none. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the professor. Always, Mr. Darren Hill in the building.
Yes. Always in the building. Here, present, please. What's going on, Lions? It is a pleasure. As Les Bro would say, pleasing, plum, pleasure. If I got that right, and if I don't got it right, it's all good anyway. Right? I'm here in the building.
Pleasing pleasure.
Plum, pleasing pleasure to be here for another CF Talk. So we're gonna keep it going. We got the other Lions to bring in the building. We're excited about this discussion. So let's go ahead and bring them in, Rudy.
Yes, sir. And of course, this show could not be complete without another significant brother. All the way from the city where you could just walk to everywhere. I'm just going to just keep it on. You listen, you want to go to Walmart, you can walk to Walmart, you walk to the mall. No matter where you are in the city, you can just walk. Just start walking. You're going to just bump into whatever you're looking for eventually, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Jacksonville, Florida, make some noise for the doctor himself, Mr. Bobby B.
What's up? Today is a great day, and it is the best day of my life. Bro, I don't know. You deliberately trying to get me kicked out of Jacksonville, bro? Because it's like, I'm getting to the point, I don't know if I should bring it up or not bring it up anymore. It's just at that place. Darian, a plum pleasing pleasure, brother. It's like Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. A pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Now, Peter Piper picked the pack of pickled peppers. Where's the pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Bet you didn't know I could do that.
Yeah. Whatever he said. Yeah. Listen, man.
Can you do that Sugar Hill gang? Can
you come in with all kind of skills, man. You come in all kind of skills.
But we need specialized knowledge. Right, we gotta have special.
And of course, we gotta introduce the man. We gotta also introduce the man of the hour, and I call it the man of the hour because listen, if this man was not here, there would be no hour. Okay, I mean, this show would not be here. We would be scrambling, trying to bring people up and get a little stuff like that that's going on right there. But ladies and gentlemen, I am. What's the word I'm looking for? Excited? Yeah, that's the word. I'm excited to bring in the building all the way live from the Old Town. Once again, from Orlando, Florida. Make some noise for Mr. Lamont in the building.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? Great to be here.
Yes.
Great to be here. I'm excited about this topic that we're talking about tonight. So I am in the building
You're in the building. You're in the building. So let's get to it. Listen, if you're coming on tonight, of course, you're live with us. Put hashtag heart level. Put hashtag heart level. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. As you guys know, we are Confidence Factor. We are a community for professional and entrepreneur-minded men to pursue their passion, their purpose by developing their confidence factor. We're all about unleashing your riches. When we talk about riches, we're not just talking about only income. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about income. We're talking about contributions and community, your health, your education, of course, your spirituality, right? And our curriculum is really focused to get you to that confidence factor so that you can show up more. Your confidence factor is that seal, right? It's that state of being that says I'm unstoppable. That state of being that said I'm worthy of showing up. That state of being that lets you continue to break through all the barriers and all the obstacles and all the things that show up in life to stop you from moving forward. You know, Winston Churchill says that success is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. So the confidence factor is that thing that allows you to keep going, and your enthusiasm through all of the failure we're going to have in life towards our success. So we like to use a principle called a SMART principle that gets you to your confidence factor. And of course, number one, we believe in self-mastery. All right, we believe that self-mastery is the foundation of your success. That, as Bobby would say, we're playing an inside game, right? Not an outside game.
Man,
okay, so you got to work on yourself.
Feed is terrible.
You got to work on yourself.
Up,
we're hearing you, Rudy. Rudy, we're hearing you. You good? Okay, so we're having some technical challenges. But this is what happens something here, confidence factor, man. We just keep it going. We're not going to lose our enthusiasm. We just fail forward. That's how we do, right? And that's how we encourage you guys to do. As you can see, this is raw. This is real. You've seen us develop this show, develop this community, and just, moving forward through some of the challenges and obstacles that we have without losing our enthusiasm. And that's what this whole thing of confidence factor is all about. That's what this CF certification, that's what this whole process is all about. That when things happen, whether it be technology breakdowns, whether it be relationship breakdowns, whether it be money breakdowns, financial breakdowns, you just keep moving forward, right? As the fellows were saying, you just kind of rub that off your shoulder, keep moving forward. That's what confidence factor is all about. So I talked about self-mastery as one of the key components. And the other thing is, next is accountability, right? All of us have been through a journey in life where we needed somebody to be there to support us through the process. And, oftentimes without that support, we can't continue to move forward. We're paralyzed oftentimes through fear, sometimes feeling lonely, feeling isolated, feel like we don't matter. The lid is what we call it. And so having brothers, a community to support you along the way is very, very important. And last but not least, of course, is resources and tools. You got to have resources and tools, whether in the form of information, whether form in support from institutions or people who are going to bring some information to you to help you to level up in both your professional and your personal life. So we're excited to have you guys here again for another session of Confidence Factor. Now, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? We're talking about something we men, know all too much about, right? It's about competition. But we want to talk about how do we rise above competition to achieve the ultimate success, right? As you guys know, we have heart level conversation that lead to transformation. So we're not going to be going along the grain. We're not going to be, having conversation about how competition is important. No, we're going to really look at where the root of competition, and the root of competition really oftentimes comes from a scarcity place, right? A state of scarcity versus abundance. And so we want to examine tonight, of course, interview our guest on, how he was able to level up, right? Rise above competition, and then, of course, achieve the ultimate success. Right, so we're gonna have a discussion. We are taught by society that we need to compete, we need to grind, we need to, step on the other person to be able to get to where we want. Right, so we want to have a different conversation tonight around a different path, a different mindset, a different, a heart set to be able to get to the results. So, fellas, of course, there's a couple of things we want to share with the Lions tonight before we bring on our guest tonight. But Rudy, I know you want to talk about an upcoming event that's coming up. Are you good with your audio? You good to go?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Awesome. We can hear you loud and clear. Take it away, man.
All right. Perfect, man. Listen, guys, we are excited with an upcoming trip that we have planned next month. Man, I am super excited for that. It's happening on May 20th, 21st, and 22nd. that entire weekend. We're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. We are attending Eric Thomas, Deion Sanders, Ed Milet. There's one more person that I'm missing here. Oh, here you go. Who am I missing? Oh, Jesse Itzler. That's going to be a fire-packed conference with some great content, great information, but more importantly, us men getting together for the year, man. I'm super excited for that. So, guys, if you want to attend, be sure to check out our Facebook, The Confident Man Cave, Confidence Factor, all things Confidence Factor. We have also the link. Can you guys put the link as well? We make sure you put in the link as well for the show so that we can for the event so that people can click on the link in the comment section. But we're excited to be going. Let me tell you why it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time because not often do we get together for things other than football, cars, poker, dominoes, that kind of stuff. We need to get together for things that are going to encourage us, uplift us, and take us to the next level. So with that being said, we have an opportunity to do just that. So make sure you, again, check out the link for this upcoming event next month. We all ride together, so hit us up. Appreciate y'all. Back to you, Darian.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know if you're interested. I know a couple of guys have mentioned that they're interested in going. Here's the deal. We're going to be renting an Airbnb. So we need to have you guys let us know as soon as possible. Actually, today is really the deadline. We need to know by today if you guys are interested in going, because we're going to be closing things off today. And as Rudy said, we may drop a link, but preferably what we'd like to do, if we have all the guys collectively together, let us know you guys are interested, and then we can basically, purchase a ticket collectively as a group, right? So again, reach out to us and let us know in the group that you're interested, and then we'll organize it as a group. So it's important that we kind of have this cut off, because clearly we have to get the Airbnb and everything. So that's one key thing. The other thing I wanted to mention as well, we are excited about the upcoming launch of our Unleash Your Riches Mastermind, right? This is going to be happening in July. So we're going to be having a couple of things going on between now and then, really to let you guys know a little bit more about the mastermind, but more so we really want to be able to build more connectivity and engagement in the community. So we're taking things offline. And one of the things that we're doing, we're going to have some meet and greets, some virtual meet and greets. So our first one is going to be this Sunday, right? This Sunday coming up. And so we're extending an invitation for you guys to join us. This is an opportunity for you guys to come and fellowship with us, get to know each other on a deeper level. The group, oftentimes we don't get to, hear what each other does and understand the deeper levels of what you guys are needing and how we can support you as a group. So we want to certainly have you guys come and join us so we can support you on that. So that's the Sunday. This Sunday is going to be the first one, and we have 2 or 3 more coming up. I know we have an in-person one coming up as well. We'll talk more about that later on. So get excited and let us know if you're interested, if you can join us. We'll be contacting you guys as well in reference to that. Okay, so just wanted to share those key things that's coming up. We're really excited. We have, of course, our guest coming on. However, we know that we'll wait for him to come on. But one of the things I want to start this off, fellas, maybe we can go around the room real quick. We have this topic around competition, right? And I want to read something. This is a quote. This is a quote that the book Science of Getting Rich. If you guys haven't read that book, highly recommend it. I think it's one of the best books, not only just on your personal development, but also it's a great business book too. The principles, I think, really can apply to business and also personal. But here's what Wallace says, right? And I want to read this. It says, you must get rid of the thought of competition. You are to create, not to compete for what is already created, right? Let me read that again. You must get rid of the thought of competition. You are to create, not to compete for what is already created. So Bobby, I want to get your thoughts of what you heard in that quote. While it says you must get rid of the thought of competition, you are to create, not to compete for what is already created. So, Bobby, I want to be like the devil's advocate here. What do you mean that? What do you mean that they're not supposed to compete? I got to take you out, Bobby. You know what I'm saying? The world tells me I got to take you out so I can be successful. I gotta one up you, man, to be successful. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is definitely like the old culture, the old mindset, right? You got to climb the corporate ladder, maybe step on a few faces on the way up. It's me against you, and that's it's the divide and conquer, right? That's what it boils down to because we have a mission, and the mission is to grow and expand. What we're doing. I always think that one idea is going to win. This is my philosophy. One idea is going to win. It's either going to be your idea, it's going to be somebody else's idea. So when you get into that competition mindset, for me, I personally believe that you're getting into a mindset where you're taking on somebody else's idea versus the creation process is I'm bringing something from within to the without, something that's subjective onto the objective, right? Something within onto the screen of space. So in order to do that, we have to dig deep within ourselves and create from the inside out. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't do that. They believe that you have to, focus on what someone else is doing, belittle someone else. We see a lot of like through things like politics, right? I'm the better guy because this person sucks. Let me tell you everything that they did wrong. And when you figure out how bad they are, then there's nobody left but me, which is a crazy philosophy as opposed to thinking who's the best for the job. And so, my thoughts on that is just that, it's about collaboration. He said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So that's one of the things that we see, especially as men. We see that a lot of men feel lonely, isolated, like feel like they don't matter. And that's because what we find, especially in our group, the Confidence Factor, we found a lot of guys try to go at it alone. And it was because of the notion that competition is real, that for order for you to make it, there's no way I can team up with Darian or Rudy or Lamont. You team up with those guys, they're going to take your ideas. Right, you're not gonna have nothing for yourself, right? So don't tell, keep it a secret, right? So we're brought up with that. We're brought up with that. Keep that idea as close to your heart. Don't share it with other people. One of the things that this is a little side note, but a lot of things are set up so that it is virtually almost impossible for us to try to collaborate, and we see it throughout so many different industries, sports. It's that competitive mindset where it's dividing one against the next. So that we build up this practice of it's me or you. And I think the most important thing is to understand is that that's what we call a zero-sum game. A zero-sum game is where you have a winner, you have a loser. And we're used to that. Our whole culture is up on that. If I won, you must have lost. We think about it from a sales perspective. You think, hey, if I made the sale and I did give a sale, you probably got a bad deal. As opposed to thinking there's a whole different paradigm that exists, a whole different way of thinking. That's what's called a non-zero sum game. A non-zero sum game doesn't mean that because I won, you lost. It means that we can actually all walk away from the table as a winner. So everyone has to let each know what their interest is up front. As we come together collectively, the mission and the outcome becomes more important than the individual interests. Right. And so that's a non-zero sum game. We can all actually win by coming together collectively, setting a mission, setting a destination, reaching that destination together, and then we divide up that pie and everybody can have just exactly what they wanted. So that's a non-zero sum game. So when I think about competition and the lack thereof, I think about always trying to play a non-zero sum game, especially when I'm negotiating real estate deals.
I love that. And I think what you're speaking to there, Bobby, is this whole culture and this mindset of everyone can win, right? There's not a winner and a loser. That there is a mindset and a code that we here in Confidence Factor is really trying to establish that, the essence of collaboration comes from an on the line mindset that we all can win. So, Lamont, let me ask you this question, but isn't there limited resources though? I mean, isn't there limited resources? So how are you going to say, I shouldn't compete? Why should I compete with you? Because there's limited resources. As Bobby said, I may take your ideas. So I want you to talk about that.
Well, I mean, you mentioned the book, The Science of Getting Rich, and as someone who's an active studier of that book, right? It talks about the fact that there is no limited resources. Like, if there was a limited resource, then the creative power source would create more of it. So there's no such thing as limitation. There's no such thing as I need to get all of these. I need to own all of these customers, because there's enough customers for me as a photographer, and there's enough customers for the next photographer and the next photographer and the next photographer, and it just keeps going on. So there's no need to be competitive. And you know, that quote that you said reminded me of what Wallace Waddles said about that. He says, every man who becomes rich by competition throws down behind him the ladder by which he rises and keeps others down. But every man who gets rich by creation opens a way for thousands to follow him and inspires them to do so. So think about that. You know, here you are. If you are in competitive mode, you're actually saying, I don't want anybody to rise up here. So I'm gonna cast the ladder down, and anybody who's below that ladder, that's exactly where they're gonna stay. But if you help others rise, then you in turn get rich, and other people prosper as well.
So here's the thing. I mean, and of course, I want to challenge, you know, this notion, like to challenge things, because what we're fighting against here is, you know, as men, we see, you know, the people that we admire, the Elon Musk of the world. You see, you know, the Rockefellers. You see, Andrew Carnegie. You see all these guys, these giants, these titans of the world who have built major industries that have transformed the world. And when you study their life and you study the times that they were in, you know, a lot of those guys, in many respects, you see how dirty they were. It's some of the practices that they instituted. Maybe I'm not sure what Andrew Carnegie is much, but I know the Rockefellers and many others in their pursuit to success, it was all about trying to crush the competition, and they were very intentional about that. I mean, I remember watching the Food Network, and there was one guy, the guy that created the Oreo. He actually stole the idea from a guy who created a cookie called Hydrox. It was called Hydrox. Another guy came in and stole the idea and pretty much out-marketed the other guy. So, you know, what do we say to the fellas and the Lions when they've seen this example of how business needs to be run, how the Titans have done it? And I think Wallace actually talks about that too. When you're seeing these examples every day in the news, and these are the people we aspire to be like, the Elon Musk of the world, the Jeff Bezos, all these people who are, you know, considered cutthroat in industry. What do we say to the guys now who are saying, well, guys, I'm hearing what you're saying, but, you know, I'm looking out and everybody seems to be stomping in each other, right? Who wants to take that on?
I'll take that on.
Go ahead.
I think about first of all, what's healthy and what's unhealthy when it comes to competition, right? Competition, oftentimes, when it's about winning, when it's about beating the other person, when it's about dominating and crushing and all the things that we love in the sports world or in the world of competition, it can be very unhealthy. It can be very unbalanced. It can be very self-centered. But when it's about the journey, when it's about learning new things, when it's about beating your last numbers, when it's about even sometimes learning from the person that is opposing you. For example, the game of chess. When you start to use your own mind and your own resources, your own tools, and you start to develop better ways to show up, better ways to hone in your craft, that's when it changes. Oftentimes for me as an IT guy, I'm not looking to be better than the next IT guy. I'm looking to be better than my last person, the last person that I was, the last person that had a situation to deal with, a problem to deal with rather, and be able to succumb that problem, be able to look at that problem, look how I can resolve it this time around, and know that I'm not competing against the problem. I'm competing against learning and understanding what is it going to take to level up so that next time I face that same situation, I know how to deal with it. And so I think I look at guys like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and stuff, and yeah, they're doing their thing, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that's going on that we never get a chance to see. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't believe they started like that. I believe they started providing a solution to the world. I believe they started with, hey, this is what I can do. This is how I could bring a contribution to this world. And as a result of that, we ate it up, right? I think about Apple oftentimes. We didn't know we needed AirPods. We didn't know we needed Apple Watch. We didn't know we needed an iPad. We didn't know we needed iPhone. But they came out with something and they developed it and they made it the best possible scenario for the masses. And we ate it up. Why? Because it was great. Now, can you say, well, we're going to come out and we're going to compete against Samsung? I don't think that was the idea at all. I don't think Steve Jobs just woke up one day and say, I want to cross Samsung. I think they woke up saying we want to develop the best technology in the world. We want to develop the best phone, the best tablet, the best computer, whatever it is that they want to develop. They want to develop a product that is rich, that is that stand the test of time, and that's what they did. So when you now bring it back to the guys here in this particular container. When you sit down and you start to think, how can I make my company better? How can I make the things that I do as a professional better? How can I level up in those things, in those areas? I think about guys that I've seen that are in industries like real estate, for example, that is full of realtors. But why is it that one guy, for some reason, stands out? Why is it that one marketing guy stands out? Why is it that one photographer stands out? There's something that they decided to do that gave you a shift. Maybe they had a different story. Maybe they had a different approach. Maybe they tried something that's never been done before. And some can call it, well, they stand out above the competition. Yeah, they stand out, but it's not because they sought out to compete. It's because they sought out to be relevant. And they sought out to be different. That's why they're in the market that they are today.
Yeah, I love what you're saying in terms of relevance, and I want to explore that. I want to really explore that. And guys, if you're coming and you're watching, we're talking today about how to rise above the competitiveness in the marketplace to have success, right? Oftentimes, competition is what we're told that we need to focus on to be able to beat the other guy and rise to levels of success. But we want to go, how do we rise above that? How do we have a conversation around the different mindset shifts and ways of operating where we are not just having success but ultimate fulfillment? I think to Rudy's point, when you talk about the intention, you talk about unhealthy. I think a lot of us arrive at a place after beating people or hustling to get to success where we get the things that success looks like, the outer levels of success. But as Tony Robbins would say, that success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. It's the reason why we still feel like a failure is because we weren't really chasing fulfillment, which is, like you said, Rudy, is trying to get better, trying to develop, trying to be the best that I could be, the best version of me. I was so focused on trying to beat the other man, and in trying to beat him, I was actually putting him down versus celebrating him and helping him to grow, right? So I think that ultimately doesn't align with the purpose that God, the creator, wants us to be in creators. God wants to, here's the thing, if we recognize that we are to create, we recognize that each one of us has a gift of value, right? And we recognize that that gift of value was put in us by God. There's people who are signed for our gift. There's people who are signed to receive our gift. And so I think, in the sense that if we understand that, then trying to crush the other man's dream, trying to crush the other man's desire for success and prosperity, trying to crush God's desire to be able to express to him is one of the reasons why we get to a place where we feel unfulfilled, right? Because we should be helping each other really expand God's desire to be able to express to every individual, right? I always say that desire is possibility, or desire is God-seeking expression. So we must be able to understand that, hey, listen, when we look at our fellow man, how can we support him in being able to do that? So if you're coming on, fellas, drop in the comment. Yeah.
One of the things I forgot to mention too that I really love, I remember watching Cool Runnings for the 200th time. I don't know. It's my favorite movie, man. It's one of my favorites. But I never caught this. I never peeped this. They asked John Candy, the coach, they said, why did you cheat? Years ago, he cheated and got kicked out of the league or whatever. And they asked him, why did he cheat? And he said very simply, he said, because I wanted to win. Very simple. I was like, wow, that's kind of deep. I cheated because I wanted to win. Because at that point, it was about winning and not necessarily about the sport or the game or the commodity. It was all about winning for him. And oftentimes we get into this competitive mode that we gotta win, we gotta win, we gotta win, and we're willing to do anything to win. And then we get to the top just to realize, you know what? It wasn't even worth it. Like I didn't even get a chance to enjoy what I was doing or even enjoy the camaraderie of it all because it was all about winning for me. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point. So the fellas are watching. One of the things I want you guys to share, heart level, share, what has been kind of the environment that you've seen around competition? What has been your thought process around competition? Right? I mean, if you're honest, that most of us are told that we need to, like I said, try to compete with other guy. Try to beat the other guy if we're in the same industry instead of trying to collaborate. Let's beat him. Let's see what he's doing and try to, manipulate and try to do some different things here, or or not just openly share our ideas. And I want to talk about that because I think it was Bobby who mentioned this before, when you say people and guys talk about this all the time. You talk about growing our business. And this is one thing I think stops so many of us from showing up in the marketplace of life, right? Really openly to share our insights and share ourselves and allow the gift of value to touch the lives of the people that we are assigned to serve. And there's this whole idea that people are going to take our ideas. I wanted to go around the room and talk about this. Bobby, I want you to get your thoughts on this whole taking your ideas, right? We have this whole concept that people are going to take your ideas. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so it's a powerful, powerful concept, right? Because it's coming from different mindsets. My experience and and just my growth process is the understanding the difference between the growth mindset and the lack of limitation mindset. And that lack of limitation mindset, for me, what it said was that there's not enough, right? And that there's some form of scarcity. And so I've operated from both paradigms. I've operated from the paradigm where I thought that there wasn't enough, right? And I've operated from the paradigm of complete abundance. I can remember one time I used to constantly say to people, ideas are everywhere. Innovation is all around you. You can literally just reach up, grab what you want, put it in your pocket. I can remember times being, my full confidence in saying that as ongoing. I mean, ideas would come left and right. I can't tell you how many ideas I've had that I've seen to come fruition that I didn't execute. Like literally here in Jacksonville, I'm in real estate and I literally drive past this one lot all the time. And this lot is my reminder because I saw future buildings and the potential of this property before it existed, had a contract on it and everything. What didn't push the envelope and press forward to make it happen, and somebody else brought it to fruition. So why am I telling the story? I'm telling the story because I believe the idea is just like that. I believe the universe of the divine gives an idea because it needs to be brought into fruition, and it chooses the channel or the vehicle or the person that it wants to express itself through. If you're ready for it, you execute and then you bring it to pass. If you're not ready for it, it may have been your idea, that thought, that energy of the idea was yours for a limited time. But if
Yeah.
you don't move and act on it, it has no choice but to move to somewhere else, to a funnel,
Another
a
source.
willing and able body, right? That's
Mhm.
willing to bring it to fruition because it's saying it needs to be here now. That townhome community that I saw, it needed to be built. But I wasn't the guy to build it because I didn't push it forward. Just because I had the idea temporarily and then somebody else bought it doesn't mean they stole my idea. It just means I failed to bring it to fruition. So the
Mm.
difference in some of the mindsets is that growth mindset that you believe that those ideas are everywhere. I don't worry about that. They drive by and it's my reminder. My reminder is that when I get my ideas, act on my ideas. I heard it said that, success, is about the speed of implementation, how quick you can go from idea to actually bringing it to pass. So now I'm at the point where I don't even entertain ideas if I have no intention to bring it to pass. I don't have idea.
Mm.
I write down an idea and I put it on the
That's good.
side. But if it's not pertaining to what I'm actively working on, my active mission, goal, plan, in my direct site, then it has to go on the side. And I'm of the mind now that, you know what, if it's for someone else will have it. but when the time comes, I have it written down and I can execute a plan for it. So I think it's the two type of mindset: the growth mindset, the lack and limitation mindset, and understanding that the idea is yours, but for a limited time. When the divine or spirit wants to express that idea, if you're not ready, it's going to move the idea to the next mind and bring it to pass. The proof of that is looking at the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers are the ones that came to the forefront to present that airplane. But there were many people that were working on the airplane at the time. It just simply meant that at that time, the airplane needed to be expressed. And there were people that were ahead of the Wright brothers. They had more resources, they had more tools, they had camera crews and photography. And the Wright brothers had none of that. These were some bicycle cats, right? And it wasn't shouldn't even been in the game. But again, I think it was Oscar Wilde who says, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. And I think that's the key. Life is about the unfolding of who you are, the essence from inside out, as opposed to looking around and trying to compete with others about something that already existed. So you got to give birth to your own ideas. Those are my thoughts on that.
Man, I love that. And I think it was Michael Jackson or either Prince who said, hey, if they get an idea, they write it down really quick because I think Michael Jackson said Prince would catch it or something. There was a joke around Prince and Michael Jackson, something around that, right? So that's to your version.
Cool.
And I wanted to highlight something you said because this is so key, and I'm gonna go to Lamont because I want to talk about this. Be yourself because everyone is already taken, and this is such a powerful quote. And Lamont, we're talking about this whole concept of people taking your ideas, and I want you to kind of maybe look at this and maybe look at your own life and share around did you have this mindset at some point, and what do you think is the impact even if you didn't have that idea? What do you think is the impact of people not showing up because they have this idea that somebody's going to take my ideas or whatever the case is? What is the impact of that? Your thoughts?
So, as somebody who grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, and I actually had an aunt who worked for IBM, and there was something that happened around some idea she had, and it caused issue. And the interesting thing is, in our families, always been this thing of don't share your ideas. Don't share your ideas, because if you share your ideas and somebody steal it, and it shows, it has showed up for me where, when I have an idea, I want somebody to sign an NDA, all of those things. But I mean, I have literally woken up from dreams with major ideas. And the interesting part about it, what you just said, Bobby, was if you don't move on them, then it'll go to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is sometimes when an idea comes to you, when ideas come to me, it's like, how do I balance this major idea with what I got going on? Like, is this idea for me? How do I make the shift? How do I do that? But I'm learning that and it happened to me one time. I was sitting in an event, and this guy stood up and he was doing a presentation about an app and I had literally wrote everything down, in my journal about this app. It was like a entertainment app. So, if you come into town, you want to know where to go to hang out, you got places you can go, liquor you can buy, just all this entertainment. And he stood up and he had that same idea. You just got to one of the things that Bobby said was, and it's true, that those ideas are out there. They're not specifically your ideas. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. That's good. And I think oftentimes, early events in our life definitely shape, how we show up now, right? Because your parents or somebody said, don't share your ideas. Right. And in some respects, I think we have to have a real conversation around that, because it's not, four of us, let's say, have a agreement, right? There's a code that we in Confidence Factor live by, and a code that we are trying to express throughout the community. So all of us men, the 5 million men that we are manifesting, share that same code, so we walk as one within that agreement. However, there are people outside of that agreement that still has those mindsets. And so I think, like in the Bible it says that you have, don't cast your pearls among swine. And so I think there's still some discernment that you have to have when you get ideas that you're going to act on. Now, if you're not acting on those, which again, like Bobby said, you may put those to the side. But if you have something that you're actively acting on, knowing that not everybody's in that mindset, you still have to use some discernment and be wise to say, hey, I believe in creation. I believe in abundance. However, you realize that not everybody's has bought into that agreement. So you do have to protect, in many respects, your ideas and your assets and things like that. So we're not certainly saying be free willy with everything. We are saying be responsible with your ideas. It's just the whole mindset.
I want to speak to that too.
Yeah. And I want to set you up with that really quick.
Too, Darian.
Go ahead, Woody.
I remember several years ago, I had an idea, and I just kept on pushing it off. And eventually I woke up one day, I said, you know what, enough is enough. I gotta, it keeps coming back. I just gotta do it. So the idea was very simple. I said to myself, I used to go to a lot of homes when I did the residential IT services. I used to go to a lot of homes and saw family portraits, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they're on the beach, they have their white clothes, shirt on, jeans. Like a lot of the families took those nice little portraits. Well, when I went to the homes of Black families, I didn't see no family portrait. It was just one here, one there, little here. I'm like, oh man, okay, all right, okay. So I said, well, how cool would it be to develop something I call the healing through the lenses? And essentially what it would be, I would find a couple of families, get them together, get all their makeup and jewelry and clothes and all that kind of stuff done, and take some really nice family portraits for them. And it was just an idea, right? So talking to what you're saying, Darian, not only you have to know that you have to protect certain things that you plan on execute, but you also have to know who you're going to release those ideas to that's going to actually support you in those ideas, support you in that vision. And so 2 years later, as I was thinking about the idea and I was finally ready to execute it, would you know that I had a friend of mine volunteer her salon, her entire salon. We're talking about this is how she makes a living. She volunteered her entire salon. I had another person find two families who they selected for this photo shoot. I had a camera guy, I had a video guy, I had a makeup artist, hair, jewelry, clothing, nails. All of these people came together for free. Like, didn't ask for dime, didn't ask for anything, and was like, we love this idea. How can we support? And sure enough, we met at the salon that day. They came, they did their thing. The photographers went out, they did their thing. And then we came back like a month later and did an entire reveal around this idea. All this started right here. And that taught me something very valuable that day. Is that number one, there's two times something is born. One time it's in your mind, and the second time when it actually comes into fruition. Number two, just because it's an idea and you don't see how it's going to come out and come into play, it does not mean that it cannot be done. It does not mean that people will not rally around you to see that come to pass. And I'm a huge advocate for that. That when you do find someone who has an idea and it's a great idea, don't let them sleep on it. Let them know that it's a great idea. Let them know that, hey, I'm not trying to compete with you, but hey, let's put our heads together. Let's figure out how we can make that work. Because I like the idea, or maybe I thought about something, or have you thought about XYZ, or let me connect you with such and such. But my point is that because there's always this the competitive mindset, there's always this notion that if I get together with people, if I share it with people, that they're just going to take it and run with it. And it's not the case, especially nowadays in a post-COVID type of situation. I don't know if you guys realize, but there's a lot of companies now that actually are getting together and working together to come out with stuff, to develop different things. And so you're seeing company A with company B working on a project. It's like, wow, I've never seen that before. So a lot of that is starting to change. But guys, I'm saying to you that if you have something that you really want to put out in the market, don't wait. Don't sleep on it. Know that if you begin the journey of putting it together, you'll find more often than not people that'll come alongside of you and help you execute.
Yes. Great word. Appreciate you sharing that, Rudy. Want to say hey to Mark Philos. Is it Philos is how I pronounce the last name? Mark
What up,
says,
Mark?
he says, what's up, good fellas? He says, no man wants to lose to competition. And also he says, no man also wants to admit they did better than me. Right? So yeah, I mean, we all agree that, you know, it's we don't want to show, I think we don't want to show weakness, right? We don't want to show weakness because under the collective agreement that we are in, we got to compete, you know, and we always have to be one-upping the guy. But we're saying that oftentimes that's the state, fellas. That's the foundation and the state that doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve us for growth because life is about expansion, and we expand through other people, right? We expand through our relationships. If you understand how you grow your business, oftentimes your business grow based upon who you know, who knows you, is to other people. God brings you everything that you want through other people. And so to say that you're not going to allow yourself to share, you're not going to collaborate, you're just going to focus on competing all the time, it gets to a point, and I think there's a quote here, I think from the Harvard Business Review. I'm going to read this by the Harvard Business Review. And other outlets have made a strong case against obsessing over competition in life. While it can sometimes be productive, too often it is actually destructive to your overall goals. That's why people don't have as much of a heart to compete have advantages in life. That's why people who don't have as much of a heart to compete have advantages in life and the opportunity to be more successful. Okay, so that came from the Harvard Business Review. So, hey, listen, and it came from Darian Hill. You know, if you trust the Harvard Business Review and you trust what they're doing and they're a credible source for you, they're even talking about it as well. But I think ultimately what we're saying here at the end of the day, a couple of key points that were made is, number one, is we have a mindset that certainly doesn't serve us, right? There is this idea that there's limited resources that exist. And because we think there's limited resources, we all got to fight against each other. And so then what happens as men, we walk alone, right? We do everything on our own. We come into a community like Confidence Factor, and instead of, hey, let me reach out to the guys and connect with them. Let me intentionally do that. We stand on the sidelines to kind of watch and, you know, what are these guys doing? Or, you know, maybe I'll take one of their ideas and I'll create my own stuff. And that kind of mindset doesn't allow you to grow, because you'll take one of our stuff, yes, but you won't have the essence of what we bring. You won't be able to bring the essence, because here's the thing. When God gave all of us this alignment, we're in purpose in what we're doing. And so you can take ideas, and that's cool. You can certainly take ideas and run with it. That's not a problem. But it won't have the same essence, because what you are to do is to create, meaning that if God gives you something that's on your heart that you need to do, then it's going to have a certain level of vibration. It's going to have a certain level of power with it that is going to really resonate with people. So, you know, I just want to share that, because I know sometimes that happens. People come into groups, and then instead of them trying to come into the group with intention to come to collaborate with other folks, all they're trying to come into the group for is because they want to steal ideas, or they want to see what people are doing so they can implement it or whatever. And if that's your intention, right, there's nothing wrong with that. I think we should all be inspired by what others do. But if the intention, as Rudy said, is to come not from a space of giving, but a space of taking, guess what? You are planting a seed of taking in your own life that you're going to have customers do that to you, and other people do that to you as well. So instead of coming from that space, come from the space of abundance. Come into Confidence Factor community and say, how can I serve? How can I give? I love the mission and vision of what these guys are doing. And what oftentimes happens is when you do that, then your business grows, because guess what? You know, you're collaborating and communing with people who are building relationships. Believe me, we're making connections with a lot of people. People are seeing what we're doing here in Confidence Factor. And as a result, if you came in with that spirit, then you start to see, opportunities now come your way from business and also from just the personal camaraderie, professional growth that you're going to have aligned with us here in Confidence Factor. So I wanted to share that. Go ahead, Lamont.
I also want to say I do think that there is a level of healthy competition, and that would be competition with yourself and improving the last year. I think that type of competition of, okay, how can I make more sales than I did last year? How can I do 10 more squats than I did last week? How can I run one more mailbox further than I ran yesterday? I think that kind of competition and improving on yourself and self-development is really helpful, because I think that kind of competition spurs you personally to create, to be better and to become a better version of yourself. So I think there is something to be said about competing against yourself, and for the purpose of becoming a better version of yourself.
So I wanna ask you guys this real quick.
Hey, Lamont, here's a question though. And I agree with Lamont, also iron sharpen iron, right? So what about a healthy competition among friends, where it's like, yo, let's meet at the gym. I'm gonna do 20 push-ups. All right, I'm gonna do 30. Okay, boom, boom. Oh man, he did 30. All right, let me see if I can do 40. And I'm gonna do, I could see that being the case where, especially us in the community, we can sharpen each other and do a healthy, competitive, type of situation as well. Would that be something that you guys what do you guys think about that?
No, I think that aligns with what Lamont says, because that's coming from the intention of how can I support you to be the best version of you. That's the intention, versus how can I crush your spirit, versus how can I crush what you're doing. And I think it was you who said it, Rudy. It all depends upon the intention, right? What is the intentional agreement that I'm coming into this with? What is the mindset that I'm bringing to the table? And again, oftentimes we're not coming from a creative mindset. We're not coming from a supportive mindset. We're not coming from an abundance mindset. We're coming from a scarcity mindset, which means that I'm looking at Rudy and like, oh, he did 50. I'm going to try to, do 60 just to beat him, right? Not to say, hey, Rudy, you know what? Let me call you up. Hey, let's do a challenge together, and let's work on being the best versions of ourselves and improving ourselves. And I'm going to use you as a gauge to push myself, because sometimes, I don't really push myself as much as I need to. So I need you as a motivator to be my better version. That's a different conversation.
Yeah. It's interesting having been, when we were doing the workouts with Bobby in the mornings, and even when we get together, I never feel this feeling of inadequacy because I can't do what y'all do. Because that's not the energy and the mindset and the vibration that we operate in, right? You do the best that you can do. And we're going to push you to do a little bit more if you can. But listen, we're not going to dog you for not keeping up with what we can do, because we're on different levels. So I love that. What you snickering at? Rudy, what happened? What you thinking?
I agree, brother. I agree. You know what I'm saying? Whether you bald or whether you need to shave, I agree. We keep each other accountable to what we need to do. I love it, man. I love it. Hey, I actually shared something, guys. I want to share. I know we got a couple of minutes left, but I really want to showcase this video. It's a video that Bobby shared with us a few days ago, and I'd love to show that before he shares his inspiration. And
you got it?
Yep. All right, here we go. Actually, no, you got it. Let me share the screen. Let's see.
I don't think I can.
All right, we'll have to play it next time. But I really, really like this. It's a video. If you guys get a chance to look at it, it's a video about these guys that are competing to climb a wall, and the only way that they could climb a wall is to work with one another. And if they don't work with one another, they just can't climb it. It's just not possible. When you guys get a chance, let me see if this will. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Can you guys see?
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys see my screen?
Yeah.
There you go. Watch this. First guy gets up. Boom. Second guy gets up. Third guy gets up. So I'm thinking to myself, how the rest of the guys are going to get up?
Come on, boy.
There you go. Okay. And then the last guy, this is my favorite part right here. I was like,
Wow.
There you go.
Wow. Wow. That was powerful, man. That was powerful.
It's so
Go ahead,
beautiful,
Bobby.
man. Listen, guys, I want to share a quick story right before we close out, and I want to tell you about this. The story is about as a traveler's traveling through this village. He comes to a village where all the people are really hungry. They don't have enough to eat. Each person is in their own individual hut. There's not enough food in this particular community. So the traveler comes and he knocks on the first door. He's like, "Hey, can you share some food? I've been traveling. I'm tired. I'm hungry." The lady says, "Look, it's late. We barely have enough ourselves. So I can't give anything." And she goes to close the door. She tells him, "Hey, listen, I think that, you're not going to find anything in anybody else's door either, because no one really has what they need to survive here. This is just the environment we're in." The guy goes out, he gets a stone, and he tells the lady, "Hey, I'm about to make a stone soup." She laughs at him and says, "What do you mean you're going to make a stone soup?" He's like, "Well, I'm going to take this rock, I'm going to put this in this pot, and I'm going to start a fire, create a stone soup." So he heats the water up and he's sipping the hot water, and he says, "This is almost ready." And he says, "You know what?" The lady comes out, she's looking at what he's doing, and he's like, "You know what? This is almost ready, but it'd be good if we had just a little bit of carrots and maybe a few onions." So the lady's laughing at him, but she's humorous. So she goes inside, she grabs a few carrots and a few onions and brings it out, contributes to the pot. Another neighbor comes out and says, "Hey, what's going on?" She says, "Hey, this guy's making stone soup." And so he's like, "Yeah, it's almost ready." But he's like, "You know what? We can use just a little bit of oregano and a little bit of this." Well, the story goes on, and the neighbors keep coming out and they keep asking questions. And he's saying the same thing: "I'm making a beautiful stone soup." And each neighbor contributes a little bit. At the end, they have the soup. It's full of meat, it's full of potatoes, it's full of carrots, it's full of onions, peppers, and they have everything they need. And everybody sits around the fire and they're talking and they're having this great, delicious soup. And so I submit to you today that this traveler started with nothing. He started with an idea. Everything originates from an idea. Confidence Factor started as an idea. Maybe we can create a community where guys, entrepreneurs who feel like they're lonely, who feel like they're isolated, who feel like they don't matter, can come to a place, get together, work on themselves, self mastery, have some form of accountability, figure out which resources and tools from other experts that are actually executing in the business, and maybe we can create our own stone soup. And that's what we're doing. And we're inviting you guys to join us along this line, even as we're about to release our Unleash Your Riches program. The Unleash Your Riches program is designed to help you calibrate all areas of your life: your relationships, your income, your community and contribution, your health and fitness, your education, and your spirituality. But I want to leave you with this tonight, that the inspiration injection has to do more with the education of it. And it says that an educated man is one who has developed his mental faculties of his mind, that he may acquire anything he wants or its equivalent without violating the rights of others, by playing a non-zero sum game, by using his mental faculties. And that simply means to me that this person is developing and manufacturing what he wants out of nothing, out of thin air. You get a bunch of people who have drive, who have ambition, who are heading in a certain direction. Educate means from the Latin word educo, which means to develop from within out. And that's what we're doing here at Conference Factor. We want to invite you on this mission with us to unleash your riches. You're going to be hearing more about it, but we want you to be educated. We want you to induce what you have from the within out. Michael Beckwith says that when the pain pushes until the vision pulls. And as some of you guys are having you in your life where you feel like you're lonely, you feel like you're isolated, you feel like you don't matter, you're just an ATM machine, you work and you come home, you're going through that cycle over and over again, and you want to break free from it. You want to unleash who you're really designed to be. And we want to say, join our Stone Suit, join our community. This is the perfect place for you to be as we figure it out together. And here at Conference Factor, we believe that the group is always a lot wiser than the individual. So that being said, we appreciate you guys. We thank you for joining tonight. And remember, in everything that you do, make sure that you keep it heart level.
Hard level.
See you guys next week.